Good afternoon on what is a cool, grey and cloudy day. It is Thursday the 6th of June. I'm in the reading up with a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to continue unboxing. And what I'm going to pull out of here is the Serenity Role Playing Game. Written by Jamie Chambers and based on a motion picture screenplay by Joss Whedon. So this isn't the Firefly role-playing game. It is the Serenity role-playing game, based upon the film, which was essentially a continuation of the Firefly television series. That said, it is an introduction to the Firefly universe, and you are playing in the Firefly universe. So it's really just a change of name. And what's interesting, published by Margaret Weis Productions, it's interesting to note that the publisher would get a second crack at the whip, as it were, with this license, or a similar license, and do a Firefly role-playing game. This one, as I recall, is very much more of a traditional role-playing game, whereas using the Cortex system, one of the first role-playing games to use the Cortex system, whereas the Firefly game used what was called Cortex Plus, and has much more in the way of storytelling mechanics. Slightly complex ones in some ways, but nevertheless. And I've played both and really enjoyed both of them. So this came out in 2005. So as I sit here, it's 2024. So 2025 is going to be the 20th anniversary of this role-playing game. So here's how it is. The Earth got used up. We found a new solar system and used terraforming technology to create hundreds of new Earths. The central planets formed the alliance and decided that all worlds should unite under their rule. There was some disagreement on that point. After the war for unification, many independents, those who fought and lost, drifted to the edges of the system, far from alliance control. Out on the rim, people struggled to get by with the most basic technologies. Out here, a ship will bring you work, a gun will help you keep it. Captain's goal is simple: find a crew, find a job, keep flying. The Serenity role-playing game lets you create the reaction of the verse. The unique and exciting science fiction setting created by writer-director Joss Whedon. Everything you need to get started is in the book. Add dice, friends, and your imagination. Fly a ship out into the black, take jobs as they come, and make sure you get paid. A self-contained role-playing game. All the rules are provided for both players and game masters. Full character creation rules plus 15 sample characters, including the crew of the Serenity. Complete details of spaceships, guns, and technology. Emphasis on story, action, and character development with easy-to-learn rules, game details, descriptions of the characters, and settings from the film. So there we've got the credits content. They've got the credits page, contents page, and here we dive into the introduction. Here's how it is. So we've got an explanation of Serenity, what a role-playing game is, and what the Serenity role-playing game is, what it requires in terms of crew, game master, session, adventures, and campaigns. All essentially fairly standard stuff, as you would expect. Explanation of the game basics, including the dice, what gear you'll need, and just a quick overview of the verse. Out to the black. And then basically we have the full stats and details of each of the crew of the Serenity, starting with Mal. So you can see all his stats there, and you've got a list of all his traits and background. And it's going to do the same for each of them. You could basically, so it includes, the background includes role-playing notes as well. Zoe, Wash, Jane, Kaylee, Inara, book, Simon and the river. And that's it. Those, basically, you could take this, play it with just those crew. And it's essentially one of the attractions of the game for some players. You know, they want to play those signature characters. But hey, you know, basic section on find a crew. This is where you create your own characters. Crew basics. You're basically setting the heroic level, whether it's greenhorn, veteran, or big damn hero. Go with the concept, traits, assets, and so on. Really very easily. You've got a creation step, guide, throw in complications, decide upon your attributes and your skills. And so on, and use of plot points to advance. You know, basically tell more heroic tales, and then got a section on traits and skills. All coming to essentially all these sections here. A nice piece of colour fiction. And then we go into sort of like the various traits and skills. And many of these are used to, you know, build the characters from the television series and the films, but you know, they are also you'd be used to create your own characters. You know, and they all have their own verse kind of feel and flavour. So, for example, Nose for Trouble or Registered Companion, Religiosity, Sweet and Cheerful. It has a very kind of folksy, wild sort of west, sort of like frontier feel to the terminology. You know, isn't law enforcement, wears a badge. So lots of these, you know, like things don't go smooth. Basically, Lady Luck hates you. Then we're on to the skills, and these can have specialities. And these are quite detailed, but they do include a breakdown of sort of like the general sort of like the specialities and, you know, the skill, what the skill ratings within, what the skills can be used for, determining with regard to certain difficulties. And then you've got a complete table listing at the end. Money and gear. This looks at the economics of the verse. Not necessarily something you really want to worry about, you know, with exact detail. You know, it's more a case of how much do things cost, how much do I need to be paying out, and sort of use it that as you want to find that point between money is important, we need more money coming in, and then use it as a sort of like as a narrative device to drive the story onwards. So everything is covered here: personal gear, running a ship, and so on. You've got weapons, including, for example, an actual laser pistol, which are rare out in the black. You know, most people are relying upon six guns, rifles, and so on. A bit like, I mean, that's going to be, is that Vera? I think that's Vera. And then let's talk about computers, hardware, programs, and communications, technology, security equipment, that sort of thing as well. Even includes a section on robots, which don't figure very highly in the series, as if I recall, but they're there. Then we go on to boats and mules, so we're talking about vehicles. We really haven't got sort of like really very far into the game. We're mostly dealing with sort of like elements of the setting so far. also looking at ships and so on and how they work, and including how they deal with waste management. But, you know, you've got a section on life aboard ship and what the daily routine involves, operating costs, how to pay the bills and the like. And then your ship is defined pretty much like a player character. It has the same stats, and you know it's got its own set of ship traits. So you can build and design a ship if you want to. Throw in weapons if you really want to, because one of the things about the Serenity setting is it's not necessarily a game where you are running around with an armed ship. The Serenity isn't armed. Basically, the nearest thing it carries to weapons is decoy devices. So you've got a couple of some deck plans here. There's some sample ships, so that's like a gambling den aboard a Serenity style ship. You've got also a homesteader transport. That's another option there. So really, you are choosing what type of ships you really want. And here you've actually got the Serenity. There we go. And that's the sort of ship that most people are going to want to play. But you know, you've got options to. So that's actually not a Serenity ship, I don't think. It is a Firefly class. So yeah, it's just a bit different to the one we see on screen. And what else have we got? There's an Alliance patrol boat. You want to keep out of their way. We even have a bigger Eldorado boat, basically for that's an Alliance cruiser. You really want to stay out of that thing's way. And it doesn't go up as far as the big massive cruiser that you do kind of see in the series, but we've also got a Reaver skiff, something else you really want to avoid. And then keep flying. Here's how you play the game. So using the dice, when to roll, drawing successes and the like. So on. So got a complete guide on how to roll, and really essentially, as I recall, you're rolling 2 dice to get high, one for your attribute, one for your skill, that sort of thing. So this also deals with combat. How to inflict violence. You've got a list of other ways to get mangled. And then we get out into the black here. We've got the actual setting material and sort of like the role of the game master. So we are talking things essentially language, technobabble, westerns, in with the old and with the new, because the setting itself is a combination of the Wild West meets Chinese culture. So you have a lot of Chinese phrases thrown in, discussion of campaign concepts, how to create the characters and what roles they fulfill. We're discussing those. Designing adventures, and this is all taken. These images are all taken from the film, not the series. We've got continuing advice about writing content and throwing in events. Throwing in some NPCs. So you've got some samples there. Including basically some named characters which we've seen from the film. Like, you know, just the universe. And basically information dealers, Fancy and Mingo. And then we have the operative of Parliament, essentially the danger throughout the film. And then we had we had detailed the ship, the Aces and Eights. So here we've got the crew of the Aces and Eights as a sample set up, as well as the crew of the Serenity. So you've got full details of those characters, not presented in the earlier styles, just to separate them out from the Serenity crew. Oh, and here we've actually got the actual guide to the verse. So, explaining when it is, the year 2518. You know, recent events, the terraforming programs, the Unification War, the Alliance versus the government, basically the Anglo-Sino Alliance, and then the independent planets and what's happening with that. The danger of the Blue Sun Corporation with their strange operatives wearing blue gloves. You've got the guilds, like the Companions Guild, and then we've got the Syndicate, one of the crime organisations, and so on. And then here we've got the Reavers at the end, you know, the ultimate bad guys. And map of the verse, and basically just showing you the various planets. And so on. You've got overviews of some of those worlds. And both inner and outer. So on. Appendix of Chinese phrases for the setting. Quite a lot of them, actually. Yeah, and that's it. You've also got a advert for Legend for Dragonlance Fiction there. So yeah, that is Serenity Role Playing Game, published 2005. And worth looking at again. I think especially if you are a Firefly or Serenity fan. I mean, there are lots of ways in. I mean, people could obviously say, "Oh yeah, there are lots of ways in which you could run this using a bit of the system of your choice." But I mean, one of the things I like about, in general, role-playing games like this, that they adapt the source material and make the rules fit the source material rather than the other way around. You know, which is sort of what you'd have to do. To adjust it to another setting, another set of rules, for example. But yeah, that's Serenity Role Playing Game, published 2005 by Margaret Weis Productions. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings on the Nook, you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, or in this case a role-playing game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.